Welcome to episode 5 of Living in 50 States with Yasmin Elzomor representing New York. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. I'm super excited for this conversation. I know it's going to be fun.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm curious to hear from a local, an inside view to New York. So, what brought you to the state originally?
So, I'm a native New Yorker. I am born and raised. I know it's like really hard to believe that because there's so many transplants and so many people that move to New York City, from other countries and states. But I was born and raised. I live in Queens and it's home. It's everything. It's everything. Like I'm so used to all the craziness and all the insanity that is New York City. As we all know, like I feel like New York has a reputation for being very electric and very crazy and very intense. And that's true. It's very true. And yeah, I love it. I love living here. I think it's such it really is. I feel grateful and blessed that I was born and raised here. I think people they really want to be in New York. A lot of people want like wish they could live here, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
there's a lot of that. But yeah, I'm just native New Yorker.
that's cool. And you're actually in the city, which is, pretty cool. You're not like, up north, or you're
Upstate.
actually
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
so,
Yes, exactly. I'm not like because there's obviously like city, like the boroughs, and then there's like upstate New York, which is more, like the countryside and more nature, right?
oh, yeah.
Which is beautiful. I visited too. Like I've been upstate and to like the Catskills and stuff like that. But yeah, I think nothing beats like the city, you know what I mean? Like I like getting away to nature and like to be in that in quiet spaces. But then the city always calls me back. It's always
I can imagine.
time for me to come back.
It's a special place. It's everyone in the world seems to know New York City. So it's a
Yes,
special place for
exactly. It's
sure.
iconic. It's very iconic.
Yeah. And just to kind of give an overview, so within the city, there's all the different, do you also call that boroughs? Like Queens, Brooklyn? What do you
Yeah,
call that?
Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, like they're all like the boroughs. They're the boroughs of the city.
The
Yeah.
boroughs. And so that makes up the whole city and like financial district, like all of that. And then each one has like its own vibe to it, own kind of explanation.
Yeah.
Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes, that is 100% accurate. Absolutely. Yes. It's interesting. Every borough does have its distinct flavor. Like I've noticed that. I live in Queens, like I said. Very different from living in Brooklyn. Very different from living in Manhattan. Very different from living in Staten Island or the Bronx, right? And it's interesting because you can see it. You could see just in like the streets, even the restaurants are different, right? The people are very different. If you go to Brooklyn, if you go to like Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right, which is one of the hot spots in Brooklyn, I like it there. I really enjoy it. They have a lot of really great spots. You can sense the difference in like the people, the quality of people, and like who hangs out
Interesting.
there. Yeah, it's really interesting how like every borough has its different energy to it and a different flavor. And it kind of depends on what you're feeling, right? Like people are like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of feeling more Brooklyn vibe, right? Or Queens is a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more chill. It's not so crazy. There's not that much going on in Queens, you know? There's cool stuff, but it's a little bit more on the quiet side.
Interesting. I definitely want to dive in and ask you about each, but first I was going to say, how would you describe New York City in like the overall vibe, like 3 words to kind of, if you had to choose it as a whole?
I would say intense is one the
Intense,
first word. Intense, definitely. Electric is another word. So it's
electric.
like there's always something going on. Always there's you can never be bored here. Anyone that says that is like, what are you doing? You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that
And
is
I think
true.
the third word, right? Yeah. The third word would be exciting. It's very exciting being here. Like I said, there's always something to do. There's always something new to explore. There's always like a new place to go to. You can't run out of places here, right? Like there's infinite amounts of restaurants and bars and lounges and clubs. And depending on your mood, depending on your vibe, you can choose like what it is that you're looking to do, right? So yeah, it's always filled with lots of different things and lots of adventures. So
That's a good way to put it. I actually have cousins in Long Island, and so I've been to New
okay.
York a handful of times, but special place for sure. Would you say, random question, everyone has that misconception, or I don't want to say misconception, but the idea that New Yorkers aren't that friendly. But when I was up there, I found that New Yorkers are very friendly, It's just, you have to respect their time. They're all have a purpose. They're going somewhere. If you walk alongside and you're like, asking for directions, they'll help you. They're very nice. It's just you don't want to, you gotta meet them on their level, like with their pace, right?
Bingo, exactly. Well said, Jonathan. Yes, you got to meet them at their level. Yeah, New Yorkers are. I don't have bad experiences with fellow New Yorkers. You know what I mean? Like I probably because I'm a New Yorker myself. You know what I mean? So it's like we kind of all understand and see each other. But
Yeah.
I have heard from other people that they come to New York. They're like, "Oh, New Yorkers are like assholes," because they're so like dry and they're so blunt and straightforward. And there is truth to that. Like we are very direct. We are very honest. Like we will say it how it is. Every New
Yeah.
Yorker I know, especially native New Yorkers, they're very fiery. You know what I mean? Like they're very like, this is how it is, and I'm gonna say it how I say it. And I said what I said. That kind of energy, right? So we don't hold back. That's for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, it's an interesting experience like being here. Like I think New Yorkers are wonderful though. We're very resilient, experienced a lot like in this city, in this state. And yeah, people are just there's no bullshit with us, right? Like if you want to get
Yes.
something, you got to be direct about it and move forward.
That's what I like. It's nothing is like hidden. It's like, someone feels this way, they tell you. It's kind of like how with like my dad's from Greece, as I mentioned before, and my Mediterranean culture, or Hispanic culture, or most different cultures are pretty straightforward. It's like, a lot of passion, a lot of
Yes.
I
Yes.
feel like New York reflects all the different cultures, and so people are just direct, but they're loving at the same time. But it's like I don't know how to put it, like very united, but yet it's like an interesting mix because
Yes.
it's united, but yet do you know what I'm trying to
Yes.
say? I can't seem to put it into words.
Independent at the same time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like
No, I
very
totally
united,
agree.
all different cultures, all different types of people, but everybody helps each other, like one big giant family, but yet it's almost like one big giant family. Everyone's direct. They tell you how it is as if they've known you for 20 years. Yeah, it's cool,
Yes,
right?
it's so
Would you
true.
agree
It's
with
so true.
that?
So we
Or
like learn to be like
a
that,
special
Like
place?
I agree. I agree. I
Huh.
agree. Like for sure, I'm that way. I am also that way in my personal life, So it's like, and I think a lot of it is because I was born and raised here, right? Like the culture that you're in, that you're born in, it of course has a big influence on who you become, right? And like the person that you are. And New York has this, as we all know, it has a lot of diversity, which is beautiful, right? I love that so many different. It's like a melting pot of different cultures, and everybody kind of comes together and learns about each other's culture. And that's the beauty of like having so many different types of restaurants here, right? Like there's endless amounts of options that you can explore. And it's also a very hustle and bustle culture, like coming to New York, you don't have a choice but to get up and work and like do make something out of yourself, right? It's a very go-getter type of culture, type of energy. And I love that. Like I feel like I'm so used to that, right? Like here it's just like, yeah, we gotta keep it moving, right? So it's not as laid back as let's say LA, right? Or Miami, right? Like other cities are a little bit more chill, they're more laid back, they're very like, we'll get it done when we get it done. But in New York, it's like we get it done quick, right? Like you
Yeah.
go in to get something done and people are just on their feet like, okay, let's do it, right? So yeah, it is a very quick culture, and it could be heavy, it could be a lot at times, but we know how to get things done, like, and we're very sharp about it.
I like that. Would you say there's any local sayings, slang, or expressions that feel uniquely home?
Yeah, it's brick out. People, when they say it's brick out, it means it's cold out.
It's brick out. I've never heard that before.
Uh, yeah, it's brick. We use a lot of like it's lit, lit means like it's amazing, right? It's so many of these
Yeah,
slang words that we hear, like New York City slang. Um, yeah,
it's
I'm like trying
brick
to think
out.
of other ones, but those were like, yeah, it's brick out today, like that's
That's
very,
funny.
very New York. Like you come here and that's 100% New York. Another thing that's like really New York is wearing all black. Like it's kind of a thing here that everybody wears black. Everyone's just kind of like very low key. And we're very like casual, like people are just but we people dress well also in the city, right? Because it's the
I
fashion capital, right? New York City, it's very focused on fashion, and I work in fashion, and I've worked in fashion for many years too, so like I'm very much immersed in that world, and I see it in the city. Like everyone's just very dressed in like very weird, eccentric, quirky, outfits, and we're kind of used to people being crazy also, and like being interesting and being different. Like that's kind of again part of being in New York City.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never realized that, but thinking back in the city, people are well dressed, and you don't see a lot of bright colors usually. Huh, that's true. Wow.
No, no,
What?
it's not like Miami. It's not like a coastal. Yeah, there's not much. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think people tend to misunderstand about New York?
I think, it's a good question. I think people think um, that it's like very dangerous, or it like people don't, it's not safe to travel to, or to be like, I hear that a lot, like, oh, New York City is dangerous and all this stuff. And truth be told, everywhere is dangerous, right? Like there's a risk
That's a
anywhere
good
you
point.
go, especially any major city. Like of course any major city, if you're not careful, like yes, there's like risks to every place that you go to, but New York City, like I feel like, if you're careful and you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, you have a plan, if you're traveling, if you're a tourist, you'll be fine, right? Like you'll be just fine. Just know ahead of time where you're going, what places to avoid, right? Like what areas are not very safe or are not great to go to, and you'll be okay, right? But I think a lot of people make that misconception that it's like, oh yeah, New York City is like it's not safe, but it's like, hey, I've had great experiences living here. I've never really experienced anything crazy dangerous, but it's probably also because I don't go looking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's a good
it's like
point.
don't
You're
go.
not like out at in Brooklyn, 3 in the morning, like walking on a. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Down a
Exactly. You gotta be
back
careful.
alley.
Yeah, the train station, the subway, right? Be careful. Be careful, like what time you're out, and make sure that you're with people if you're out late and stuff. Like little things like that, right? But yeah, it's being discerning.
That's a good way to put it. Before diving into like details on like, restaurants and all that, I'm curious about the some of the boroughs like you were talking about before. If first question is what are the main boroughs? Like if how many are there so many that we can't name them all? Or is it like 6 to 10? Like are there
No,
6 to 10 main
it's
ones? Okay.
so it's just like a handful, right? It's the Bronx, it's Staten Island, it's Manhattan, it's Queens, and it's Brooklyn. So
Okay.
those are the
Five.
those are the main boroughs in the city. Yeah, yeah. Like not this is not talking like upstate New York and like, that part of New York, New York State. This is just New York City. And that's basically it. Those are like the main boroughs, and that's where you kind of just get around, right? And you make your way. And like I said, I live in Queens, so I don't really go to, all the boroughs all the time. Usually if I'm anywhere, I'm probably going to be in Manhattan, right? Like that's like the main borough that I hang out in because of like work stuff or events that I have to attend and stuff. Sometimes Brooklyn, right? Depending on the event, or like if I'm going to hang out with a friend, like we'll go to Brooklyn, we'll have like brunch or dinner or whatever at a fun restaurant. But yeah, it's like not like it just there's very few, it's a few boroughs. It's not that big. It's not that
Okay.
crazy, right? To me it's not. But maybe to someone else it's like, "Oh, that's overwhelming. That's a lot."
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. For some reason, I thought there were more, but I never took time to sit down and really, So then to explain each one,
Yeah,
so you
it's
said
many.
the yeah, how would you explain each one? I know you touched on that before. You said that Bronx is the Bronx, or Brooklyn's a little crazier than Queens. How would you explain each one?
Yeah, so I think Queens of all of them is like probably the most laid back borough. It's the most chill. There isn't that much happening here. I mean, in certain areas, right? Like you'll find like hot spots and all that stuff. Manhattan would probably be the craziest. Obviously, it's the center, right? It's where everything it's where everything's playing out, right? We have Times Square, we have Soho, we have the Upper East Side, right? There's many different spots in Manhattan that are hot spots, right? And you can find it's always busy. There's always things happening, and there's always events and all that stuff. And Brooklyn is kind of like in the middle, right? I would say it's in the middle of Queens and Manhattan in terms of craziness. Like it's not as crazy as Manhattan, but it's also not as calm as Queens. So, like if you're looking to go somewhere where it's like not so insane, but you're also looking for some electricity and some socializing, then Brooklyn is a good spot for that, right? Because Manhattan can be a
Okay.
bit a bit much. But again, it depends on who you are, it depends on what you're looking for. But Staten Island and the Bronx, I actually don't hang out much in those boroughs because there's no point unless I have to do something for work there. But Staten Island is more of like, I think I've been there maybe once in my life, which is crazy. I don't really go to Staten Island much. And the Bronx, I've been there maybe like a handful of times. The Bronx is a pretty big borough, so there is a lot there. There's a lot going on. But I'd say like the more popular boroughs is Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan.
That makes sense. So I've heard the Bronx, from is stereotypically like kind of tough, that kind of vibe, kind of like a Bronx Tale, the
Yes,
old movie.
it's tough.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. And
yes,
then
there's it's tough.
Staten.
It's tough. It's
Oh, sorry. There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, go for it.
So it might seem like
A
I
little
keep
bit lag. Yeah, I
interjecting,
see. I
but
noticed that.
I think it's like a 5 second lag. But I was gonna say
I
Staten
noticed
Island.
that.
I've
That's
heard.
why I'm just
It's all good. Staten Island. I've heard Pete Davidson, the comedian, joke about certain things. So it's interesting how each borough is so different.
Yes, each borough is like a different world. It's really crazy how that works. But like they all have it's their charm and their quirks and obviously like places where it's dangerous and it's not great to go to, but yeah, it depends on what you're feeling. It depends. There's always a place where you're like, I feel like I want to be more in a laid back chill area, so that's Queens, right? Or I want to
Yeah.
go somewhere really crazy, electric, or I want to go out at night and I want to party, that's Manhattan. You know what I mean? Or if you just want to go for brunch and like, still be in the center of the crazy of a little bit of craziness, that's Brooklyn, right? So it just depends on what you're feeling.
I see. That's cool. So then, if someone wanted to visit New York, what would you say would be like the perfect day to like, check out the city, Manhattan, see some sights, and then, and feel free to
Yes.
dive in with like exact restaurants, and I'll get to more of that later, but what would the perfect day
Gotcha.
look like for a tourist?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, oh my God, there's like so much. In Queens in particular, because this is like, again, where I live, right? And I know it really, really well. There's this place in Queens, it's called Astoria, and it's one of the hot spots. Like there's so much going on. There's like, it's a very Greek area. It's very Greek concentrated. So yeah, there's a lot, and very Egyptian, Greek and Egyptians, like they take
Oh, that's
over
cool.
Astoria. So it's like half of my people, right? And your people, Jonathan. So I
That's
love
cool.
that, right? So you have
Yeah,
bars, there's like a strip where there's Greek restaurants, tavernas, like this and that, and like seafood places. Oh my God, there's a place, I can't remember the exact name, but it's Taverna something, and it's one of the most popular Greek restaurants in New York, actually. All of New York. And I've been there before, and there's a line to get into that place,
that's
and
crazy.
it's one of the best. Like they have best seafood, the best fish. Like the food is incredible. It's very Greek too. Like you feel like you're in Greece, like with the interior design and everything that they have in the restaurant. It's amazing. It's one of the best restaurants, and I've been there, so I can vouch for that, right? Like I agree, it is really great. But yeah, there's that, and then depending on what it is that you want to do, right? There's plenty of parks. There's a beautiful park in Astoria. It's called Astoria Park, and it's gorgeous. It has a beautiful view of the city. People they spend the whole day there. You can have picnics there. It's a pretty big park, so you can like walk around it. Not as big as Central Park. Obviously, that's like the iconic park in Manhattan, but
Oh yeah.
talking in Queens, this is like one of the best parks, and it's like a beautiful, beautiful area. So I would say like a walk in that park, maybe go grab some food right at that Greek restaurant, and like just explore. There's so much to explore. The beauty of New York, I want to say, is that you don't need a car, right? I think a lot of people like they think, oh, I need to rent out a car to get from one place to the next. It's like you do not have to do that in New York. That is the beauty of it, that there's a subway, there's buses on every corner of the street. You also everything's walking distance, right? Like I don't have a car. I know how to drive, but I actually don't have a car, right? Which is interesting because I don't need one. It's like more of a luxury here in New
Yeah.
York. Like you don't really need to have you literally have a deli on every corner. There's a Starbucks on every corner of the street, right? Like there's things to do everywhere. Like on a main strip where it's called Queens Boulevard. Everything's there. Like you have grocery stores, you have clothing stores, you have restaurants. Like you don't have to walk far, and it's like literally a 5 to 10 minute walk from my place, you know? So that's the beauty of it, is that we don't need cars here. So if a tourist wants to come here, you don't have to worry about spending money on renting out a car. Unless you're driving to upstate New York or you're planning on going further out, right? Into like the state of New
I
York.
see.
But if you want to stay in the bounds in the city, there's no point.
Okay, that is so cool how everything you need is right there. And that reminds me, one of my
Yeah.
favorite memories when I was in New York was renting a bike and like just pedaling through the city and going through
Yes.
like Chinatown and like just random
Oh,
boroughs.
I love that.
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah, so it reminds me, everything you were saying reminded me of that. Ah, you're right. That's so cool. What would you say is a food or dish that represents the city? Is it so international that there's not one, or is there like one food that's kind of iconic?
It's so funny because people they when they come to New York, they want to have New York bagels and New York pizza. So I don't know if you've heard that, but people love the pizza from here, the bagels from here. Like those are the two things that people come here and they're like, and it's true. The pizza, New York pizza is generally really good. There's places here that I'm just kind of like, wow, this is like excellent pizza. And bagels too, like they have really good bagels here. But it's mainly so diverse and it's so international and there's so many different types of foods here and cultures that like again it just is you kind of have the ability to choose. You have a lot of options. You have the and there's so much variety here that you can choose, whatever. You can have Italian, you can have Greek, you can have Egyptian, right? You can have Colombian food. Like there's so much to choose
Everything.
from. And yeah, it's everything. And there's different tastes, It's like it's really wonderful. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's like one particular dish that is like New York famous or New York popular. I think the only things that are really like popular here and what people like they come here to taste is bagels and pizza, which is
That's
interesting.
funny. Bagels and pizza, huh? Is
Yeah,
there
bagels and pizza. So that's like the thing.
is there like a restaurant like three favorite restaurants of yours or like hidden gems that people don't know about in your area or anywhere in the city that you recommend?
Yeah. Oh my God, there's a ton, there's a ton. I'm like trying to think of things like right off the bat. There's like so many,
There's a
but
lot, I'm sure, in New York.
yeah, there's besides I know, besides the one I mentioned, right, in Astoria, there's another one in Astoria. It's called Grand Cafe and it's also a
Grand
very
Cafe.
very beautiful spot. Yeah, it's a really beautiful spot and it's big and it's beautiful and the food's excellent, amazing. There's also another place called the Queen's Room. It's also in Astoria. Astoria has like the best some of the best places and they also serve amazing food. They have like really amazing pasta. Like if anyone goes there, the pasta is incredible.
Sounds good.
Those are some really good places. In Brooklyn, I know a couple of spots. Like one spot is called Two Hands, and it's a really great like brunch spot. Like I went there a couple of weeks ago and it was for the first time. And I was just like, "Ooh, this is like going on my list of my favorite spots because the food was amazing and it's in a beautiful area too. It's in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and it's right near a really popular park in Brooklyn. It's called Domino Park and it's by the water. So it's situated in a very beautiful spot. So yeah, there's a bunch of different there's so many, right? Like we would have to sit here and like talk about it all day because there's just so many, but those are some of the ones that stand out
Wow.
to me the most.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good answer. And actually, I have a question that is probably going to be the hardest question yet.
Okay,
If
I'm ready.
someone had only, if someone had only one meal, like they're flying in, they have like an hour, and then they're dipping out, uh, where would you take them? Out of all the restaurants, where would you take them? One place.
If I could take them to one place, oh man, I would take them. I actually just thought about another place that I go to often, and it's really, really amazing. And it's an Asian fusion restaurant, and it's called She, and it's also situated in a beautiful spot. And I would definitely take that person there. Like that's a spot that is also like a hot spot, and a lot of people like to go there, and it's beautiful. It's again, it's by the water. Like you have beautiful views. It's situated in Long Island City, which is like 10 minutes away from Manhattan. It's like right on the border of Queens and Manhattan. So it's close enough to the city, right, where you can like still explore and you can go to Manhattan, but it's you're still in Queens.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. I'm gonna search that place online after this. It's called She.
Yes, yes. She,
Okay.
SHI, yeah. Yeah.
SHI. Okay.
Yeah, it's
She.
a great place. The food's amazing. The food's incredible.
It does sound good. I was going to say the daily life and belonging section. What are the small everyday things you've grown to love? Oh, actually, scratch that. I've got one more question in the food category. Fun question. That's
Okay,
why
yes.
I was trying to remember.
Yes,
I was
love
like, I
it.
knew I had one more. So if you were gonna, then we'll get to the other section. But if you were to make a cocktail to represent New York City, what would generally be in it? So kind of a creative
It's so
question.
funny. What would be in a cocktail? Oh my God. Probably like honestly, like New York City, I feel is very rum and coke. There's just it's
Really?
very
Wow.
like rum and coke. That's like yeah, like I would say like that would be the New York City drink, rum and coke. Like that's what a lot of
Rum
people
and
get here
coke.
actually, surprisingly enough. I actually don't drink. I'm sober, but like when I'm out with friends and like loved ones and family and stuff, like people get usually it's like, "Oh, can I get a rum and coke?" You know, like that's like the thing. Or a red wine. People are very simple here
Okay.
when
So
it
mine
comes
is
to
pretty big there then.
drinks. Like yeah, yeah. So I would
I
probably say
see.
like, you know, if I were to make a cocktail like that represents New York City, I would just go simple. We're
Just
mixing
straight
the
to the
rum and the
point.
coke.
Okay.
Straight to the
All right. No,
point.
that makes sense. Kind of represents the
Yeah, yeah.
mentality. All
It
right.
does.
And
Yes,
then
it represents the mentality. It's like simple, quick, you know.
symbolic. The jumping back to that section I was getting started with, what are the small everyday things you've grown to love about living in this in the
That's a great question, Jonathan. I would say like I've grown to love that there's that you can never be bored here, right? Like I've grown to love that you can always explore something new. And by doing that, you're kind of learning about yourself, right? Like I've learned so much about myself by living here, by just doing different things, getting out of my comfort zone, right? Going to different events, taking different classes. Like again, like the amount of things that you can do here is like endless, absolutely endless. And you can learn so much about who you are, you know, like by doing different things. So for me, I think I've learned so much about myself and I've learned so much like about what I like and what I don't like by trying different things here in the city, you know, and even with food, right? Something as simple as like different restaurants. You get to try different spots, and if you don't like it, that's fine, right? You find another place that you like.
yeah.
So yeah, it's I think one of the things that I really love about it here.
That's really cool how you said that. It helps you learn about yourself because there's so many things that you get to try, and then you
Yeah.
get to see, I like that, I don't like that, why do I like that? Like you get to not only
Yes.
learn more about your preferences, but also the why behind it.
You. Exactly. Yeah, you get there's a depth to that. Like you can actually see more about who you are and why you choose certain things and why you like certain things, you know?
Yeah. Well, with that being said, how has living in New York shaped who you are as a person?
New York has made me very resilient, you know, like very, very resilient. Like you kind of have to be on your toes here. You got to be on your feet, right? Like you cannot
Can't
miss
slip.
here. You cannot miss. Yeah, you cannot slip here. Like it's like you got to keep it going, you know? So I think for me, it makes me very ambitious because everybody here is ambitious, right? Like New Yorkers are naturally very ambitious because again, it's that hustle, like go, go, go mentality, which there's positive and negative to that, right? Like sometimes we work ourselves to the ground, we don't realize that we're like burning ourselves out. It's one of my issues that I have to like work on. But for the most part, I also love my ambition. I love that it's forced me to create a structure for myself, to make a name for myself, right? Like all these things that only living in New York, these opportunities that are like once in a lifetime. I've had incredible opportunities just living here, right? With like working in fashion, even through coaching, even through the things that I do, right? Like in my day to day, it's like I have experienced incredible things that I feel like I wouldn't really experience if I lived elsewhere.
That makes sense. That makes sense. A lot of opportunity.
Yes, a lot of opportunities. Always. There's always things to do here, always opportunities that you cannot miss. And you have to, that's why you got to be on it, right? Because if not, then it just passes you by.
I see. With all of that being said, with your personal life, what does a day in your life look like in New York City? Like you get up, you take the subway to work, you stop by your
Yeah.
favorite cafe every morning. Like, what's your general routine look like?
Yes, I love it. It depends on the season because obviously New York has some crazy, like crazy weather and crazy seasons. I would say, like, generally speaking, maybe I'll wake up, I will maybe take a class, go to the gym or take a dance class, whatever I'm feeling. But that's usually like my first order of business, right? Is movement, is being able to incorporate working out or like some sort of movement. And then after that, like maybe I'll get some like tea or coffee or anything at like my favorite cafe. Maybe I'll sit and relax and like read a book there. Usually I like to do that just to get my mind straight, right? Get my head right. And then depending on what it is that I have to do, sometimes I'll have clients during the day, which, sometimes I'll work from outside, from any coffee shop, or if I'm not feeling it, then I'll come back home and do it from home. And then when I'm done with all of that, then maybe I'll meet up with a friend, we'll go out, wanna go dancing, we'll go dancing, right? It depends. It really depends on the vibe. Every day it's different. Right? Like that's the beauty of it. It's so unpredictable and so spontaneous that I don't know. Today we could do this and tomorrow we could do something completely different, but we have the option to do that, which I think is amazing.
That is really cool to have the option. Sounds like there is so much to do, like right around the corner.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
What
Yes.
uh
Totally.
what location do locals love that rarely makes travel guides, like in general? Are there like any touristy spots that aren't necessarily touristy? Like for locals, I mean. Like busy places for locals that aren't
For
touristy?
local.
I said that wrong. Yeah.
Got it. So like not Times Square, not
Yeah.
Times Square, not the
Like the
crazy, because
opposite in
like
a
we
sense.
don't really, yeah, locals don't like Times Square. We don't like to hang out. If we don't have to go there, we don't go there. It's too much. It's too much going on. I would say, again, because Queens is very laid back, locals love it here. They love Queens because it's low key. Like Queens is the most low key borough, like I mentioned before. And there's an area like 10 minutes away from me. It's called Continental Avenue, and it's like it's a popular spot too because it's very low key. It's like popular, low key. People like, there's gyms, there's coffee shops, there's bars and lounges, and it's not big. Like it's not like, this big strip of things, but there's a good amount of stuff that you can do there. And I feel like locals enjoy it because it's so low key. There's not that many people there, right? Like, and it's like not as crazy busy as it would be to go to like Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right? Like, which is becoming more touristy a little bit more. It used to not be that way. And now people are like, coming and hanging out there and, spending time there. But yeah, I would say like Queens is probably, Astoria is probably one of those spots where it's like still very low key. There's not that many crazy tourists yet. Not
See.
yet.
Okay, Queens. Queens is the place to be, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Queens is the
Are
place
there
to
any
be. Yeah, yeah. It's low key, but it's a place to be.
Sounds nice. Are there any hikes or views, like outdoor spots aside? Is it mostly Central Park or leaving the city or because there's not really like hiking anywhere in the city. Like what would you recommend? Central
Oh,
Park is the best?
Central Park is the best in terms of like if you want nature and you can't leave the city for whatever reason. I would say Central Park. It's a massive park, right? As we know, it's like the most iconic park in New York and it's the biggest. And there's like lots of nature and and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful park. If you want to go on a hike and you like actually want like full on nature and there's no cars and there's no like city life, you would have to, at that point, you'd have to rent a car, or there's other options. You can take the train, you could take the bus, right? There's a train called the Metro North, which you can take and it takes you upstate.
Nice.
Takes you to the Catskills, takes you to like the Poconos, right? Like it can take you to certain areas, or you can take like Greyhound buses, like those big travel buses, right? That it takes you from one state to the next. There's options. You don't need, again, you still don't need a car, but if you want to leave the city, you do have to have a means of transportation because you can't be getting around with like an Uber would be insanely expensive and you can't get around with
Oh
just
yeah.
walking places upstate. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, like you would need to do that, but you would have to get out because like there is no hiking like in the city. Like there's no can't really find that here. You can find parks, which is fun and great, but if you want full experience of nature or like to have like a full nature getaway, you need to get out of the city.
So no urban hiking? I'm just
No,
playing. I
no
mean
urban
walking around the city,
hiking.
but
Yeah, that's like the only thing. But like, no actual, we're not actually, going on big hikes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The sort of a couple fun questions. What is the most in-state or in-city experience that you've ever experienced? Like, cliche things like you walk outside and, like a taxi uh drives by and like yells
Yes,
at you
I
in
was
like a New
just
York
thinking
accent
that.
while you're getting your New York bagel. Like, what's like the most in-city experience that you like have experienced?
Oh my God, it's so funny. Yes, that's one of the experiences that I've had. That's very New York. It's very, very New York to like, hail a cab, right? Like I've taken a taxi like that with friends when we're out. We'll just like be like that. We're like taxi, you know what I mean? Which is funny because we could just take an Uber, but we wanted the experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
that's
could just call
classic.
up an Uber, but it's so funny to be like taxi.
That is
So that's
classic.
like yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic. Another thing that I've done, which is like so touristy of me to do, but I did this with a friend like, a year ago. There's like these like really fun, I don't know if you've seen them, Jonathan, but there's these fun little like carts, right? In like around Central Park. And it's kind of like a little carriage ride, not with the horses. It's not the one with the
Yeah.
horses. It's without the but they have like little carts where, they're like blasting music in the little carts, little cart, and you can like ride that and they'll take you around Times Square, they can take you around Central Park, right? Like they'll drive you around for a little bit. Obviously it costs money and they charge big amounts of money for that because it's a very tourist thing to do. But in all my years living here, I had never done that. So I ended up going with a friend who she just moved from LA to New York recently and she wanted like a New York experience, right? So I was like, let's do this because I've never actually done this before. She's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Let's do it. And we had the time of our life. It was so fun and so crazy that we did that. But that was another like very common New York experience that people when they come here they want to do that. You know what I mean? Like they see it in the
Yeah.
movies and they're like
That does sound pretty cool to like ride around, listen to music,
yeah,
just experience the city. Huh, okay. That's cool.
exactly. And it's like open so you get to see the city.
That is nice. If the state were a person, so how would you describe their personality?
If the state were a person, I would describe the personality as unpredictable because I feel like New York City
Unpredictable.
is very unpredictable. Yeah, I'd be like, you're very unpredictable. You're very up and down. New York City, even the weather here is very unpredictable. Like we just had a crazy snowstorm, and now it's like gonna be like 50 degrees in the next week. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like, whoa, we
Yeah.
have crazy, crazy shift changes. Just in the weather alone here, like we can have all four seasons in one day, literally. Like we'll have winter in the morning and then like during the day it starts to get warm and it gets really hot. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So it's very unpredictable here.
I didn't realize that there was such a wide range of, temperature, weather variation, and like, is it more
Yeah.
seasonal? I mean,
Yeah.
like, or in the summertime, is there a lot of fluctuation in the summer, or is it more so like winter or fall?
Yeah, I would say fall and spring. There's a lot of fluctuation during the
Okay.
day, like a lot of changes. Like it'll start off cold and then it gets warm like midday and then it gets cold again in the evening. Winter and summer are very extreme here. Like when the winters hit, they hit hard. Like we have blizzards, we have like crazy like we just had like two blizzards in the last month, and big ones too, where they had to shut everything down and, schools canceled and work and all that stuff. And when it comes to like summer, also, like it gets very humid here. It's very hot, like sometimes we can get like, heat waves and it's like 100 degrees, 105 degrees here of like heat and humidity, which can be like really
Wow.
annoying. I don't really
Oh
like the
yeah.
humidity, so it's like a little bit tough for like the summer is not to me. I don't really like the summer here because it's like too much. But yeah, it fluctuates. It depends. Winter and fall are the best times to visit, of course, like when it comes to tourists coming to New York. I would say the fall is amazing because it's about to hit holiday season. October I
Yeah.
would say is like the best. time to be in New York because it's like it's spooky season, you know what I mean? Like it starts to get like you can just be out with a leather jacket. It's you don't have to be wearing a bunch of layers. It's fun.
Sounds
You know, it's
nice.
fun. It's a fun vibe. And spring too. Spring is also an amazing time to be here, you know, because there's so much to do. Like everything starts opening and events start happening outdoors, you know, so yeah, those are the two times I would say it's good to visit. Winter is, I mean, it depends if you want to be stuck in like potential blizzards. It's not great to visit in the winter because then there's like a big snowstorm, you're not going to be able to explore much, you know what I mean?
It's funny because I've heard before like how magical it can be in the wintertime, but then I don't, not taking into consideration the downside of that with the blizzards. Is that
Exactly,
true? Like,
exactly. It's
it could.
beautiful. I mean, like again,
Okay.
Christmas is beautiful in New York. You know, like I would say December is really nice because like usually there's not crazy blizzards in December, but again, it doesn't
Okay.
it might there might be, you know what I mean? Because it's still like winter in December. So
Yeah.
yeah, people want to come here to experience like winter in New York, you know, Christmas in New York.
Christmas. Yeah, that's what I've heard. But no, it's good to know that fall is the ideal time, and that is pretty cool. See fall colors and the
Yeah,
festivals. You actually answered my next question, so I appreciate that. I didn't have to even ask. It was
I love that.
the
Yes,
yeah,
awesome.
read my mind, read my mind.
Love it,
The
loved it.
last couple of questions. The where was I? Oh yeah. What is the best advice you would give someone thinking about moving there? Like your friend who just moved there. What advice did you give her before she moved to New York City?
I told her that she needs to make a plan for herself, you know what I mean? Because like it's expensive, right? New York City is expensive. Like you do have to have a financial plan in place. You have to figure out like what your game plan is, right? Like you can't really just like wing it here. It's very hard to just wing it because it's going to be expensive, you know, and it depends on the area that you're living in. Like obviously living in Manhattan, living in Brooklyn is a little bit more pricey than Queens is a little bit cheaper because it's further away from Manhattan. And it's because
Okay.
it's so like low key, like you can find my area is like more suburbs, right? So you can find more like it's more quiet. You can find like cheaper stuff here. But I would say like having a plan is really smart. Like a lot of people think that they could just wing it when they come here and they just don't know what they're doing. But New York is brutal, right? If you don't know what you're doing. So like you do need to have some sort of plan in place and like just be prepared, right? Like to know that you're kind of coming into the craziness.
I see. No, that's good advice. Yeah, it sounds like you definitely can't just be wandering around aimlessly, with how focused and driven people are.
No.
Wrong place for that.
Yes, wrong place because it's very people are just no bullshit here and they're like, you know, the people are very independent here. So it's like you're kind of on your own. You know, if you're coming here, you got to be ready to be on your own a lot.
Interesting. Okay. The
Yeah.
most photogenic spot and why? So like most Instagrammable spot in the city, what would you say?
Oh my God, I feel like there's just so many because like Central Park is obviously very photogenic. It's very like there's so many spots too in Central Park, like hidden gems where it's like, how did you where even are you? You know what I mean? Like you're in like this magical place in the world. I would say also Soho. Soho is a very Instagrammable spot. Like all the fashion
Soho.
influencers like are always in Soho. Like so yeah, because it's all fashion, it's all like the cobblestone streets are very cool. The build with the contrast with the buildings, right? So like there's a lot. There's a lot. The stores are really cool too, like the storefronts, you know. Those are like some of the best, I feel like most Instagrammable spots. There's so many, right? Like people here just go crazy when it comes to like content and you know where they can go to take really good pictures. But yeah, I would say those are some of the best and you know, of course, Times Square, right? Like the
Oh
billboards
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that
for sure.
stuff. Like people love
Symbolic.
taking pictures there. It's symbolic. That's a given. Everyone knows Times Square. Like we all know what Times Square is and you know what that looks like.
Yeah. I remember I went to the financial district where the bull was, like in the movie I think it was in the movie Pursuit of Happiness, and I wanted a picture with the bull,
Yes.
but there were so many people taking pictures in the front of the bull. I ended up taking a picture in the
Yeah.
back of the bull. Then looking back, it's a funny picture. It's just this bull, like this bull butt and everything just right behind me. but it was funny. Still an experience, good experience.
Oh my God. I love that so much. Again, there's so many spots, right? There's like endless amounts of spots in the city that you'll
Yeah,
always find a spot to take a picture in.
it was so funny. I was like the only one behind the bull taking a picture. That's actually all my questions. Yeah, it was funny. Do you have any well, actually, let me rephrase that. How can people find you to follow you, interact with you, and if you want to share what you do as well for listeners? I should have mentioned that in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I love that. So I do a lot of different things. We did a an episode for your other podcast as well, where people can definitely tune into that. But I'm a life coach, and I also do photography, and I also model, and I'm a dancer as well. Like there's like all these different outlets of creation that I'm a part of. If anyone wants to work with me or just come chat and find me, you can visit my website at yasminelzomor.com or Instagram, which is at Yasmin Elzomor.
Awesome, and I'll make sure I tag all that as well. And this will be out just like the other one, probably the same week, honestly. I think next week. And
Awesome. Okay.
I get to do, it's so funny. The other podcast we did, I got to do my new closing statement. And then for this one, it just happens to
You
be, I got
did.
my new closing statement. Yeah. So I get to practice it. If this conversation gave you a new perspective on this place, share the episode with someone planning a trip, considering a move, or curious about life beyond their hometown. Every place has a story, and the best way to understand it is by listening to the people who live there or frequent travelers. So if you want to go deeper and learn directly from locals across the country, you can also check out our How to Road Trip America community, where travelers connect, learn, and explore with purpose. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and I'll see you on the next episode of Living in 50 States. Thank you, Yasmin. I appreciate it. That was
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan.